You guys ready for a big money day? Go in the chat and say yes! Claim it. Go in the chat. I had a coffee today. I'm sorry, guys. I'm ready to rock and roll. I had a coffee. I'm ready to rock and roll. Who else had a coffee this morning? Tell me who else had a coffee this morning. Keep up that popping up here too. Awesome. Okay, so it's a big money day. It's a big money day, and it's about my favorite topic to talk about. And by the way, the thing I used to be, this is for somebody out there right now, the thing I used to be so ashamed to talk about, which is, oh my gosh, if I talk about money again, people are going to think I'm all about the money. Who can relate to this? You want to talk about something and you don't want to be judged about it, right? It's actually become the thing that people comment on a lot. They comment on my energy, or they comment on the fact that they're like, it's so refreshing that you actually just really talk about money versus talk around money. Who knows what I'm talking about? I want to show you how to actually make money. I want to show you how to make a lot of money. I want to show you that it doesn't matter what skill set you're at. You can actually do really well creating income. Who wants to do that today? I want you to put a T in the chat if you're ready to do it today. Which means, think about this for a second, because if you're dropping a T right now and you are someone who holds yourself back, you are someone who is super busy, or you're someone who you know that you're not taking the effort that you want, when you put a T in the chat right now, you're declaring that you're going after it. You still want to put a T in the chat? Put a T in the chat if you're declaring you're going after it. So if I gave you strategy today, which I'm going to do, if I give you strategy today, you'll actually do something with it. Is that yes? Is that a yes? Will we do that? Yes? Okay, so I'm looking at these yeses, and don't be surprised if I come back and start messaging you while I'm sitting there, like, I don't know, I was going to say watching a movie, but that's very rare, where I'm sitting there and I start messaging you. I'm saying, hey, Katie, did you take action? Hey, Gladys, did you take action? Rebecca, did you take action? And if I start getting no's, I'm going to start saying to you, what was in the way? Right, Jasmine? What was in the way? And so what I want, I said this to my husband. My husband's leading a club call for our clients today, and he's going to do a stretch with them. So if you're on the club, if you're one of our clients and you're in the club, put club in the chat. He's going to do a stretch with you today, and it's a money stretch. And I don't want to give it away, but they're going to be forced to sell today. And the reason why is because people are afraid to do it messy. You know what I'm saying? Like some of you analyzers, you need more information. Same with you controllers, you need more information. Like, I just need some more info. I need to know what I would sell. You need more information. And then you guys who are promoters are like, let me just go out and do it. You know what I mean? Like, let me just go out and do it and see what happens. And so we need to be a little bit more like the promoters right now. We need to go out there and just give it a shot, do it messy, be okay with not looking good and not having all the answers. So otherwise, here's how I'm going to unhook you from this. Okay, because I'm going to call you guys forward. I'm going to do some homework today. Who's excited about homework? Put an H in the chat. Who's ready to take some effort? Okay, so I'm going to do some homework. And the homework, I'm back. Somebody's going to win a coaching session with me. Okay, so who's ready for that fire? Somebody's going to win a coaching session with me. I haven't done this for years, but somebody's going to be blessed with a coaching session. And I promise you, this is not an income claim whatsoever, but I'm pretty good at making money. And I'm pretty good at getting you out of your own way, right? And so there's a good chance that not only will I put a strategy together for you, but I'm going to put an accountability system behind you. You guys who already jumped into Hardcore Leadership, put HCL in the chat. Put HCL in the chat for you guys who've already jumped into Hardcore Leadership. The whole reason why we created Hardcore Leadership is because it's impossible for me to do what the homework is today for everyone. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Jennifer, if I could get inside your head, I can unhook you pretty quickly. And a lot of great leaders can. Tomorrow, we're going to have Dean Graziosi. Who's excited about that? Put Dean in the chat, right? Put Dean in the chat. Dean's one of those people that if he had a few moments with you privately, he can unhook you like that. However, he's $100,000 to get into his mastermind. And there's a limited amount of seats that get that option, right? Why? Because you can only give to so many people at the same time. That's why if you guys who are my entrepreneurs, put an E in the chat if you're an entrepreneur, so I can see you guys entrepreneurs. The best part of your business is when you start and people actually have you. But then you, to even be able to help more people, have to create systems to be able to serve more people. And part of your responsibility is, how do you serve more people that still get their results? Can you shut that door? That still get their results. Do you see what I'm saying? So do you see how everything is a leadership game? Everything. is a leadership game. So it's like as you start to build out, you have to build things that people still get the results. Okay, so everybody take a pen and paper. First thing I want you to do. Now, if you are not an entrepreneur, put a heart in the chat. If you can put a heart in the chat, if you're not an entrepreneur, if you're here on Zoom with me, you can put an XO, right? Put a heart or an XO, if you are not an entrepreneur. Okay, put a heart or an XO in the chat if you are not an entrepreneur. Because I'm gonna teach the entrepreneurs and I'm gonna teach the non-entrepreneurs how to use what I'm teaching so we all win here, okay? Because everybody's human and everybody gets to have a little bit more cash in their life, okay? So first, number one is you need to know someone's target. This is the biggest mistake because people don't listen. Unless you're a supporter personality, you listen well. But if you are not a supporter, there's a good chance you don't listen well. Just a little stab in the dark there. So what that means is that somebody's target. So if you're not an entrepreneur, you might have a kid. So I've taught every nanny that's ever been in our life, house manager, how to work with my son. My son is a controlling promoter, which means he's playful, he's a ham, he's like the party, but he's also very decisive about what he wants. He's very clear about when he wants it, and he's got lots of testosterone as a little 7-year-old, right? And so and I tend to hire controlling people around me because I like their assertiveness. See what I'm saying? And so now you get a controller and a controller, and what do you get? You get a fight. So like one of our nannies once threw my son over their shoulder. It ended up becoming his favorite nanny, over his shoulder, and like put him in a bedroom and shut the door. And I was like, that's like the wrong thing to do to a controller. I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to get him to think about it, but that's not how you're going to land the communication. You got to know somebody's target. So with my son, you say, hey, Zach, what I hear you saying is, and this is really important, what I hear you saying is you want to color. What I hear you saying is you want to jump on the trampoline. What I hear you saying is you are frustrated right now. Are you frustrated, or I'm not listening to you? Is that what you're saying? You got to know the target. So then my son says, yes, like the high energy settles down and goes, yes, like I feel like you're not listening to me. Okay, what are you trying to say? Now, whether they're 7 or 70, male or female, half the time we have a breakdown in communication because we don't know the target. And what we're doing is we're putting our ideas, thoughts, advice, whatever quadrant you are, supporter, analyzer, promoter, controller, we all do it a little differently. But at the end of the day, let's call it our agenda, right? So we put our agenda over top of somebody else's target and we think we know. Anybody know somebody like that in your life? They think they know all the time. You're probably that person too. It just might look different. Okay, so you must know somebody's target, which means it's a really good idea to ask if you're on point. So think of a target and there's a point. Am I on point? Okay, so if you're an entrepreneur and I told you you needed to go sell something in the next 30 minutes, what would happen to you? What comes up? Because I actually want you to do that. So what comes up for you? If I said, I want you to sell something in 30 minutes, freeze, panic, freeze. Thank you guys for letting me know. Panic. Let me know. Go in the chat and let me know what comes up. Fear, freeze, action, shift, panicking, how to, panic, anxiety, control. Okay, awesome. So you know if you can't go sell something, you can't lead anything, right? If you can't go sell something, you can't do shit. You're dead in the water at that point. So notice all those feelings. Okay, so if you're selling something to your 7-year-old or your 70-year-old, or you're selling a product or a service, so you're selling an idea, product, or service, so whether it's in your personal life and you're managing emotions, right? Or it's a product and service, you're selling emotions. So this target has a bunch of emotions with it. The emotions are why people buy. Now, it is your job. Like I've noticed in hardcore leadership, you guys who jumped into hardcore leadership, don't say anything. You guys who have not jumped into, I'm just using this as an example because it's a place that we all know, right? And by the way, the teen program, we had so many people jump into HCL that we have more people than I was expecting for the teen program. So I'm going to shut down the teen program bonus on Friday. Okay, so I have to do that. I made a decision. That's it. I'm going to shut it down by Friday. So hear me for a second, because I want to use this as a benchmark. For you guys who wanted hardcore leadership, and I want everybody to look at the chats and comment. So keep this neutral, right? Like this isn't an offer, right? Keep this neutral. Pay attention to how I'm using my voice to land and what comes up on the chats, okay? For you guys who did not jump into hardcore leadership for whatever reason, but you wanted to, okay? Or you want to. What I'd like you to do is put me in the chat, M-E. You wanted to, you want to, but you haven't. Put me in the chat. Don't justify why, just put me in the chat. Okay, so everybody look at that. There is an emotion someone's getting stuck in. There's an emotion somebody's either getting stuck in or they release from. Okay, so releasing is vision. Stuck is like, this is my current situation. Got it? Yes. So this could be the 7-year-old who's stuck in their emotion. You're not listening to me. The 70-year-old, my bank account looks like this. Do you see what I'm saying? They're stuck. That's why I always say there's seekers and creators. You got to get out of seeking because it's stuck. I know it's branded in the spiritual world as powerful. It's not powerful. I'm very spiritual. Being a seeker is not powerful. It's called lost. It's lost. A creator is, I'm really clear that I want this relationship. I'm really clear that I want this leadership program. I'm really clear that I want this body. And I'm stuck in an emotion that doesn't release me forward. So then I have to go back to what's the target, which is the commitment. In order to release someone, you have to create some level, I've been calling it a runway. Okay, so that's urgency. You have to, when we did this whole challenge, the day that a bunch of people purchased Hardcore Leadership, does anybody know what day that was? There was a speaker on. Who do you think the speaker was? Go in the chat. Anybody, if you weren't part of it, don't worry. Just pay attention. Who was the speaker? Barry, Pete, Dan, Pete, Michael, Kim. No, Kim, we didn't make an offer. Barry, Michael, Barry, Dan. Okay, so many of you guys think it's Dan or Michael, and you're right. The cart moved twice really strong, Michael and Dan. Why? Michael got you really connected with your story. And you saw where you get stuck, and he released you. This is why Michael's our leadership trainer. Can you stop that dog from barking, please? This is why he's our leadership trainer. He does the same for me. Now I have the power to do it for myself. Do you guys see what I'm saying? That's freedom. You can take every dollar out of my bank account. I'm good. I'm not kidding you. I'm good. I'm good. I can figure it out. Do you know how much peace of mind that is? Can you feel me there for a second? Like, because unless I lose my mind, which I've found out by Gary Becca, that Alzheimer's is actually type 3 diabetes. He's got a series of people that they've turned it around in. Do you see what I'm saying? So unless I lose my mind, which I'm going to go to Gary Becca if that happens, right? Then I'm good. Who wants that? Who wants that? Okay, so here's the thing. You got to be able to realize you are always I want everybody to practice this. Whoever you love in your life, like when my sales team says, how long do you follow up with someone? As long as you care about them. As long as you care about them. Like if you stop thinking about them and you stop caring about them, that's when they're back into isolation and alone. And you hope to God and have faith that somebody else picks them up and is stronger than you to lead them to their promised land. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's the deal. The reason why people don't want to follow up, they don't want to keep going in with someone, is because they're more concerned with their own emotion of looking good. You should write this down because you need to identify why you can't close. Why you can't close your husband, why you can't close a deal, why you can't get your wife to stop complaining. Okay? Because there's a trigger before that. And the trigger before that is losing sight of the target and goes into an emotion that gets them stuck. And there's a pattern to it, and you know what it is. Every single, oh, nice that you guys popped that URL up. I didn't even see that. Literally, you know what it is. Do you see what I'm saying? So how many of you guys can spot a pattern happening in your life right now? Right? How many of you guys can spot a pattern? Yeah. So I spotted a pattern in my own marriage. And because I can lead it differently, and I'm going to show you how to find the money, because I can lead it differently, I came to my husband, poor guy, he's always in the shower, and I'm like in there with him, opening up the door, like, let's talk about this. He's like, and my husband loves the shower. Who else loves the shower? Put an S in the chat. Okay, like the shower is like a sacred place for him. And I totally do not see it that way. So he'll be steaming in our shower, and I'm like, how's it going? Let's talk about something. And he's like, oh, Shanda. So this morning I had a wife moment, and I was like, I'm noticing I have a target. We have a target of this next level relationship. You have a target in your business of whatever number, dollar amount, how many people you want to help, right? My friend Joe DeSena started Spartan races. He wanted to rip 1 million people off the couches and get them back active into their life. So I don't know, everybody's target, they do it differently. Some people are not motivated by money. I actually think most people are not motivated by money. Otherwise they'd take my programs and they do whatever it took. Because 100%, I'm the bridge to financial freedom, 100%. And I do it completely simply. You don't have to be a genius, and you don't even have to be smart. You just have to turn your heart over to care enough about people to follow up with them 15 to 17 times in 1 week after you talk to them. Have you guys noticed how many times I've said leadership? Because people are still processing, right? And then come Friday, when the teen program goes away, because we had such a great overwhelming response, when that goes away, it's like they get to face now. Is it important to me to have a teen in? Do you know what I mean? Is that important? Is that part of my vision? Some people it is, some people it's not. You see what I'm saying? And so for some people, that's the urgency they need to get out of their emotion. It's the runway. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So I say, honey, we have a target. I've got targets everywhere. So do you. Are you clear about your target? Because most people are confused. They use words like, I want more money, I want more this, I want more that. It doesn't work. Okay, what's your commitment? What specifically is your target? And why is the runway shortening? You should all write that down. Why is your runway shortening to your target? Okay, so we have a target in our marriage to take it to the next level and to have a 10 out of 10 marriage. And so I'm noticing this pattern because pressure is up. When pressure is up, pressure is a privilege. When pressure is up, it highlights character flaws, it highlights patterns that don't serve you. You know, when everything's going great, you don't notice that stuff. But when, you know, we're moving the business, we're moving, there's a lot of newness happening everywhere. And so when that happens, so there's pressure up, and then my husband threw out his bat. And so I was like, I'm noticing this pattern that when I ask you a question and you respond like this, and then you keep going, that I respond like this. And I'm not proud of myself for responding like that. Could you lead me differently? So ladies, I didn't take a minister that told me that they believed in scripture, but they didn't believe in women like surrendering to their husbands. And I was like, I'm going to tell you, every strong, powerful woman, independent, you hate the fact that you lead your man. You hate it. You hate it. So maybe learn how to surrender to him. So you got to ask different questions. You lead it differently. So it's like, could you lead me in the way that when I ask you a question, especially right now, could you respond differently to me so that I don't become this person I don't want to become? And so I'm 100% owning my side, right? I've given him my target. I want to be a different woman. And we have an opportunity. We have a runway right now. So I'm going from stuck to released by putting urgency underneath myself. We have a runway. We're going to move to Puerto Rico, and the pressure is going to be gone. And we're not gonna, this is gonna be something that's kind of there sometimes, but because the pressure's up, it's like there. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? So don't back off any pressure. When you're going to sell or to have a conversation with someone, do not back off because you're afraid they're going to trigger or you're afraid somebody's going to say no. Don't back off. You back off, you might as well just put a nail in your coffin. You're not making money. Okay, you can't, because you can't make money unless you got courage. Write that down. Money comes with courage. Courage to take action, jump, build the plane while you're going. That's the only way to do it in entrepreneurship. I mean, most people do not have their products or services done. They sell it and they build the fucking thing. When they got a live audience, they build it. Do you know how many times I sell things that I just am listening to you or watching the comments and I'm like, I'm going to do this. And they're like writing it down because we don't have that. And then I create it. And then it goes to a content day and they're like, here, listen to this recording when you said that because you were like in it. And it's like, boom, let's create that. You hear what I'm saying? So you build the plane. If you want the plane built before you jump, you're not going to make money because it's not a pattern of success, not financially. So now you know that information. What you do with it is totally up to you. That's where leadership kicks in. It's the insurance policy to you doing what you know you need to do. So don't say, I know I need to eat better to be in better shape. No, knowing it is not the same as embodying it because you don't really know it unless you do it. Because otherwise you'd just be batshit crazy to know something and not take action on it. Who hears me? Yes. Right? So it means you need help, not in knowing more. You need help in taking action. That's leadership. Okay. So my husband says to me in the shower, God bless him. He says, you know what? I was actually already thinking about that. The power of two people who are 100% responsible for whatever's going on and working together. Hear what I'm saying? Yes. So he's like, you got my word that I will respond differently so that you don't go off the rails. That's freaking amazing. You want your woman to respect you? Show up like that, right? Which means you have to lead something. You know what he could do? Oh my gosh, my wife does this. My wife is like this. That is a weak conversation. That is you saying, I don't have the skills to lead this conversation and I don't have the responsibility or the ethics, because it's ethically incorrect to blame somebody else when you know the pattern that causes the trigger. Don't do the pattern, but also don't pull back and not engage in life because somebody responds like that. Change the funnel. No different when I'm doing a marketing funnel. I was doing a marketing funnel, a video we have up online, and I was like negative $150,000 a month. I just stayed on it. Like, I was like, we're gonna keep working on it. We're gonna keep working on it until we get 90% of our money back. And what was I doing? Establishing a new target. And so we actually have this funnel working. Your relationship is a funnel that has landmines in it. Your business is a funnel that has landmines in it. You need to know how to navigate around the landmines so you can lead people emotionally to a release. Hear what I'm saying? So what can you do with that right now? What can you do with that right now? Who do you need to go have a conversation with? If it's in your business, put a B. If it's in a business, put a B. If you need to sell, like this. Okay, if it's personal, put a P. If it's personal, put a P. If it's personal, put a P. If it's business, put a B. So I can see you, okay? Now, there are some of you guys who have done past challenges in the past. I've done a lot of this recently where I've talked about 50 ways to find the money. Who knows the 50 ways to find the money? Put 50 in the chat. Put 50 in the chat. So my question is, have you actually worked that list? Your 50 ways to find the money. Have you worked that list? Some of you guys, yes. Have you worked the list? I haven't started. No, yes, no, yes, yes, no. It's a mixed bag. Lots of no's. And yes, I know some people don't know what I'm talking about. There are 50 ways to find money. Okay, this is so important to understand because whether or not you're sitting at an 8, 9, 10-figure business, or you're just getting started, or you you have a career and you don't have enough money. Okay, so there are 50 ways to find the money. Okay, so there's people who wanted hardcore leadership who didn't jump in. I'm telling you, that's a huge indication how badly you need leadership because I'm giving you the way. Okay, so Jasmine, let me pop you up here for a second. I know you guys on Instagram won't be able to see this, so you're gonna have to listen to me here. Jasmine, let's pop you up for a sec.
Hi.
Okay, so tell me why I can't do anything here. Can you speak and let me see if I can hear you?
Yes, can you hear me?
No, I can't hear. You guys, I don't know what's going on here, but that's all right. That's all right. I got it. Okay, go for it. So
Can you
50, can you put her up with me, guys? So we're both together. 50 ways to find the money. So tell me two or three right now.
Doing DoorDash, looking for investors, having your car.
Investors. Okay, let's be more specific because if we leave this like investors, we're kind of like we're in the pressure. We get up in the morning. We have our focus time. Who's doing focus time? Put an F in the chat. Who's doing focus time already? Which we taught. Okay, freaking awesome. Yes. Okay, so that's so good. So in the focus time, if I got there and I had my list, I'm caught up in my shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, I gotta have money to grow my business. I gotta get into this coaching program. Or I gotta hire this coach, or I gotta get a virtual assistant. Who needs a virtual assistant? Put VA in the chat so I don't forget this. Okay, so now I don't know if the link will work because it keeps overloading. I'm gonna ask my team to drop the VA link in the chat for anybody who needs it, okay? Because it overloaded the other day and bombarded. So they're gonna drop a Hardcore Works virtual assistant link for you guys who need it. Every entrepreneur should not be building your business alone. That's insane. I went to $1 million just because I had the accountability of a virtual assistant. Without her, there's no way I would have hit that. So, okay, so it's heartcoreva.com. Heartcoreva.com. Go open that up right now because I'm gonna keep talking and you're gonna lose that. Heartcoreva.com. Go ahead, open it up, and pick your VA, okay, or just a VA conversation to find out what's going on when you in your business and can we help you. If not, then they'll tell you where to go, okay? Okay, so good commitment moment. So if I leave the word investor, now I'm in my focus time and I'm going, I need an investor. Well, I could call my stepdad Don. No, I don't want to call Don. You see what I'm saying? I'm in trouble now. So now instead of writing the word investor, I write the word Don. I write the word my Uncle Ralph. I might put my mom because my mom has some cash in her house. Ooh, you'd ask her 100%. I'd ask her for that because the more urgent my runway is, the more likely I'm going to create the result. So if I have a ooh on that, that means my runway got shorter. Do you see what I'm saying? And so now I go, okay, strategically, which is all leadership. Well, if I borrowed 5,000 from her, I know no matter what, I could pay that 5,000 back. Do you know what I mean? Like I could, over at least 2 years, I could come up with $5,000 if I paid her $500 a month. Like even if I failed, I can figure it out. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm managing my emotions so I can release myself to do it versus getting caught in the stuck emotion of I can't ask my mom because she's retired and all of that. Do you see what I'm saying? I could go to my house and I could get a line of equity, or I could refinance. Oh my God, interest rates are higher. That's gonna increase my mortgage, and I'm afraid of that. You don't understand money. Because if I can get money out of here, I'm gonna take money thinking I'm gonna bet on myself. Right? I'm going to bet on myself. If y'all go to Dean Graziosi's Instagram right now, I'm sure it'll come out tomorrow because we're all being influenced by the same group. We all study together, inform each other of what we're doing that's working. There's no ego in the crew. And, Warren Buffett's been really clear. And he's like, work on your leadership and work on a small business. Those are the two things that are critically important. If you're not an entrepreneur, it's time for you to become one. I'm not kidding you. You have advice that can be sold. You've raised a baby, you've gardened, you've done something. It is time for you to stop pretending or stop identifying yourself as a non-entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Let's get paid for a hobby and bring some cash in. You just need an email list And we just need something you've done in your life that you've been successful at. Homeschooling your kids, growing a garden, cooking, any of that stuff. You had a cooking company, shit, you would have crushed it by zooming in and teaching people like me how to cook, right? See what I'm saying? So the line of equity, I don't care about the interest rates because I'm going to pull out enough to give myself about 2 years of paying that increased interest rate. And I'm going to create some cash to be able to go get mentorship, period. And I'm not going to get wussy mentorship. I'm going to go all in with the best. Do you see what I'm saying? Because then I'm going to get the knowledge I need quicker so I can go. Do you see what I'm saying? The only factor on why people don't take action is a leadership breakdown. I'm telling you, I swear on a Bible, that is it. You know what I mean? That is it. So where else can you go?
You can wrap your car. There are many services that allow you to do that, and that's everywhere.
I would not wrap your car. Here's why I would not wrap your car. Because unless you're really good at direct response marketing, you're going to spend money on wrapping your car, which $1,000 or $800 or whatever. That freaks me out. And I can't get it done quick enough because I need the money like now. Okay, what else could I do?
You can take other loans. You can go to the bank. So you've already asked your family and your friends. You can go to the bank and get a loan. There are other places where you can get loans from.
Yep, credit cards too. I know people are like, I'm never going into credit card debt. Yeah, but if that credit card debt's specific on something that's going to ROI, you know what I mean? Then 100%. I would go into credit card debt to save my marriage if I had to. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to be much stronger with him. And if we got a divorce, it's going to take a lot of what I have. Do you see what I'm saying? So what else?
You can put out a small product. Like right now, I'm doing a 5-day boot camp. And I'm just putting that out there to a bunch of people who have already kind of liked stuff that I'm doing or commented. Like I'm putting that out there for them, just a 5-day boot camp.
Okay. So in addition, I would make a list of everyone I know, and I would get on the phone and I'd call. And I would say, if I would start raising money anywhere between 1,000 and 5,000, maybe 7,000, that I could pay them 25% or 30%. You got to pick one though. You can't vary. 25 to 30. You got to be like, Jennifer or Jasmine, if you like, do you have $5,000 that you'd like to make 30% on your money in the next year? And she's like, yeah, great. That's just like that. That's the first thing that comes out of your mouth. I would just text message, I would email, I'd phone. Janet, do you have I'm raising money for something that I'm doing in my company. Do you have $2,000 that you would like to get 30% on your money in a year? Why am I choosing a year? I need to give myself some space so that I can hit it. And what I'm going to cover is I'm going to cover my overhead mortgage, and I'm going to cover, or I'm just going to cover my investment in my coaching. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Or a virtual assistant, or I don't know. You know what I mean? Don't go rent a building. Don't go rent a building because you think you need an office space, and God's sakes, do not go put money into a website. Okay, those are decisions people make that don't have a good mentor because they think they need the credibility. You do not need credibility. How many of you guys, this is the first time, thank you, Jasmine, I'm gonna let you off. How many of you guys, this is the first time you've ever seen me on this 21-day challenge? Put me in the chat. It's the first time you've ever met me in this challenge. Okay, so see all those people, do I have credibility with you? If I have credibility with you, put a C in the chat. If I have credibility with you, put a C in the chat. That is no website. In fact, the chances of me gaining credibility with you off a website, I'd have to have some really good copy. And I have tons of testimonials. I have tons and tons of testimonials of people rocking it, right? But I have to depend on you keep reading and flipping pages. Like, you don't want that. Okay, if you're building a great website, you need a good SEO strategy, search engine optimization strategy. That's what you need, which is a long tail approach, which is why you need a business mentor. And if you can't hire a business mentor because you don't have the money, you freaking need leadership. Because the problem isn't that there isn't money. There's 50 ways to find the money. The problem is that you won't take action on it because you're afraid of failing. And the other problem is that people are wasting their life with love, right? People, ladies, we have a hard time saying things like this because we say it in our head about people we love because we can see accurately what's happening. Gentlemen, you're very good at being honest and saying what's up. Ladies, we're a bitch when we do it. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like, if we're really honest. But the thing in our head that we see, people are wasting their life because they're not paying attention to the fact that if nothing gets better now, it's not getting better in 3 years from now. And I ask you a question. If you keep doing it the way you've been doing it, where will you be in 3 years from now? Go in the chat and answer that. Will you be in a good spot, or will you be in a spot that you're not going to be in the same spot? There's no way. The economy is going to get really freaking hairy over the next 12 to 36 months. There's no way. There's no way. I don't even know what I'm going to be doing in a year from now to help people who are just getting started. Like, I don't know. That's going to be my leadership. That's going to have to innovate how I deliver my programs. And I already know that. I mean, we're already talking in our masterminds. How do we help that client? Because if you don't get started right now, you're asking for challenges. It's time to get started now. The best time to start is right now. Not, I wish I would have started 7 years ago. It's now. You hear what I'm saying, my friends? Yes? Okay, so these are the things you need to think about. There are 50 ways to find the money. I want every single one of you guys to do it. Think about something you want. You want to buy a house, you want to buy a car, you want to do hardcore leadership so that you never have to worry about money again, right? Like, that's not an income claim. But I'm saying, I trust you when you can follow through. Because there's 50 ways to find the money. Now, some of you guys are going to have a hard time finding the money or writing it down. It's only, so think of it like writer's block. All authors, who are my authors out there? Put an A. All authors know this. You just have, there's lots of authors, wow. You just have to say that I'm going to sit today, right? I'm going to sit for as long as it takes, but I'm going to sit for at least an hour. And I'm going to set my alarm for an hour. I'm going to sit there at the kitchen table and I'm not going to move until I have 50 ways. And when I get stuck, I'm going to say, like, have some discipline. Because if I'm right, this thing could unleash you. If you're right, you're still stuck. So that's not a plan to take. Don't take that plan. Don't take that plan. Why do the challenge if you're not going to take the coaching? Sit in a seat and just put an alarm for an hour and just be like, this is the best hour you could give yourself, and write down 50 ways to find the money. Now, I urge you, do not pick things like, I'm going to start a business. Because that's a way of, like, you know how people will journaling's powerful, but journal and then they feel better. They're releasing pressure. I want 50 ways to find the money now. Like in the next couple hours. 50 ways to find the money, shorten the runway in the next 2 hours. Those are the only things that you get to put. So, like, I could go to my life insurance policy. I could go to my 401k. I could go to my mom. I could sell my car. I've got a Chanel purse that I could go on Facebook and all the different women's groups and take a picture of it. I'm selling my Chanel purse for anybody that is a blessing. DM me. I could call the guy down the street that thinks I'm cute. I could, you get it. You get what I'm saying? So you could literally, after that hour, and some of you guys will get it done in before an hour, but some of you guys, it's going to be a painful hour because we've made a commitment. Do we have a high five commitment? That you're going to sit there for an hour. So staring at the piece of paper doesn't help you. You got to come up with a new thought, which is, I'm sitting here anyway for an hour. So what could I do? And just open yourself up and just keep writing. It doesn't mean you have to do any of it. Okay, you don't have to do any of it, but at least have the security and peace of mind to know that there's a runway in front of you. And just like Pete talked about yesterday, who was on with Pete yesterday, put a P. Who was on with Pete yesterday? He talked about roads. So now let's just say a runway and a road. Roads are like podcasts, blogs, challenges, whatever. They're just roads. How you execute on that road determines on whether or not you get the win. and the execution is your leadership. So at least you can have peace of mind and debunk the lie that there's no money out there. And now you've got this thing staring you in the face. You could say, I'm either choosing powerfully not to engage in life and find the money for whatever you need it for. Okay, whatever you need it for. Or I now have a roadmap. And I'm going to put it up on the wall and I'm going to start ticking through and be unemotional. Remember, you're always selling an emotion, even with yourself. Be unemotional about going through that list. Don't worry about the no's. Don't worry about any of it. Just keep going. 90%, the reason why Dan talked about just get started is because of a moment like this. Just getting started is finishing the list. Just getting started is just the next step is just start going down the list. Don't edit yourself. Now, again, you always have the choice to bail on yourself. And yes, I'm putting it like that because if you need the money, it's right there. So you can bail on yourself and not have the courage to do it, or you can decide on courage and just unemotionally go through the list and check it off. I don't know how it's possible for you to not get to the bottom of that list and not have money. I honestly don't know how it's possible. Unless you choose things like, I'm going to start a business. It's like, no, that's how you take care of your future. I can show you guys who jumped into Hardcore Leadership. I'm going to show you July 12th, 13th, and 14th, 100% how to monetize any idea. And for some of you guys who are not entrepreneurs yet, I'm going to show you how to monetize a hobby or monetize a skill you've had, because everybody deserves money as much as they deserve water. You know, our COO inside the company said to me this morning, he said, you know, if you were a wild animal in the wilderness and there was no food around, you wouldn't just wait there and sit and wait for the lion to eat you, would you? Yes or no? Would you just sit there and wait for, like, does that make any common sense? I just sit here and wait for the lion to come eat me because there's no food around and I'm starving. No, you wouldn't do that. You would start pacing, going and looking, hunting. You'd go after it. We've lost our hunt, my friends. Not all of us. The ones that you're watching crush it out there in the world haven't lost their hunt because they understand they're hungry. And they understand that their runway is not getting longer in life. I want my 7-year-old to know runways are short at 7. I will never tell my son he has a long runway on anything he wants. Never. Will never. You're young. You got your whole life in front of you. Baddest advice anybody could ever give you. You're right. You should get your black belt as a karate. You should. So you got to get your purple belt next, which he just did. Right. And so right now we're leaving in a few days, right? Next week to Puerto Rico. You know, I talked to my son about last night. Literally, I'm like, how many stripes do you have to get your next belt? He goes, 1. I go, how many do you need to get your next belt? 3. So, wow, you better get practicing. He's like, you're right. He's like out there doing his stuff and he's happy about it. I'm not like, you suck if you don't do it. Like, hey, you got to go be the best. But I am saying, Zach, if you want to be the best, he's like, yes, I choose that target. Great. So I'm going to be the mom that doesn't take the pressure off him. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm not putting you suck labels on him. I'm putting you rock, you deserve it, go all in. You can do it. You're the best in the class. You're going to keep being better. Who are the kids in the class that you need to pull up? Right? Who are the kids in the class before we leave? This is stuff we talk about. Who's the kids in the class that you need to go give some extra support to so that they can catch up to you? You know, my son knows these things. The same way that I'm saying that you have to lead, he has to lead, and I have to lead. Who says that's the type of world we need to live in? Put a yes. That's the type of word, because every single one of us were the kid in the class that weren't making it. And we're somewhere in our life where we need somebody to step up and help us make it. Yes? Okay, so here's your homework. Your homework is that I want you to go inside the Facebook group. If you don't know how to get inside the Facebook group, all you have to do is look for your emails around me, the morning emails. There's dashboards, right? One of them takes you to the group. So go to the group, Coach Yourself to Success for Entrepreneurs. It's okay if you're not an entrepreneur. And go inside the group. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for you to go inside the group and do a video or a post. You know I like videos. I'm going to recommend that you do a video under 2 minutes. Why? Because we don't want to watch you longer. With love, we don't. And you're going to have lower engagement if you have 5-minute videos, 3-minute videos, 2 minutes or less. And I want you to get to the point, because if you're going to be a strong leader, you got to get to the point. And so what I want you to share is either how you're finding the money or how you found the money. Okay. And so, and then you want to put on the description, here's how I found the money, or here's how I'm finding the money, so that we can see it. Okay. If you want to go online and use the hashtag 21 days strong, you could do that. You can tag me on Instagram. I'll repost you. You'll get more followers. I'm here to serve you as well. And just share, here's how I'm finding the money after today's training. Okay. And the reason why this is important, if you want to know about leadership, you have to become an evangelist. And that is someone who evangelizes other people winning. And so do you not think it would be powerful to be able to see how Jennifer and Jeanette and Alan and Andrea, to be able to see how they're doing it? Yes, because it might jog some things for you. It also might grow courage. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, like Alan's actually doing that? Like, wow, I never would have considered that. Okay, you know, I might want to ask Alan in the chat or on the comments underneath this video, hey, where did you go in your mind to be so courageous and make that decision? Fight for your hunger. Do you hear what I'm saying? Fight for your hunger. Don't take yourself, I can't be as courageous as Alan. No. If Alan, I know Alan's on a courage binge right now. You want to hang out with that. Because whatever it is that you're going after, you need more friends like Alan to have the courage to go after it. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Because that's what it takes to make it. Okay, so whoever goes out there and actually finds the money, right? Who actually finds the money today for anything you want. It doesn't have to be hardcore leadership. Anything you want, right? So I don't care how much it is, whatever. I want to see you turn yourself inside out and prove to yourself that you've always been able to create the money. Because if you are an entrepreneur, and like, let's just take leadership for a second, you want to do the hardcore leadership program and you haven't been able to get yourself to find the money. I'm just using that as an example. Then how do you ever think you're going to ever make it as an entrepreneur? You're not. Because if you can't find the money, you can't lead anybody else to find the money. Do you hear what I'm saying? Yes? I'm using that as an example, just an example. I want to be clear. You do not have to find the money for hardcore leadership. However, if you do want hardcore leadership, let me share something with you. We are shutting down this offer and we are taking away the bonus where I am gifting a 4-week training for you to be able to let a teen go in and take on their leadership. So they don't do things like cut themselves, or they don't do things like bully some kid on the school ground, so that they don't do things like have low self-worth because they're watching TikTok. Hear what I'm saying? Yes. Hear what I'm saying? Yes. Okay. So if you can't get over yourself, for God's sakes, do it for a kid. Because I'm going to tell you, the reciprocity on that is powerful. You guys who already jumped into hardcore leadership know that you get the teen sponsorship. So there's a teen. Now we are working, like I'm like sitting there going, we're already full on the 2 trainings that we were offering for teens. So I get to go back in and recreate more trainings, but I'm not willing to do that after Friday. Okay, so if this is your time, you can use the 50 ways to find the money, jump into joinhclnow.com. If you don't want HCL, take the money and put it somewhere else. But I'm going to gift somebody who does the homework and finds the money today. I'm going to gift them a private coaching session with me. Who's excited about that? Who thinks that I can help you if you could have some time coaching with me? So I'm going to gift somebody who goes all in. Okay, so I'm looking for someone who goes all in, and I want you to tell people, how did you do it? Because leaders evangelize other people and they encourage other people to go after it. They never, ever win on their own. Now I'm going to add another give, and that is that many of you guys were really excited about Dan Fleischman's training, which is I paid $100,000 for. I'm going to throw that back in for people who joined today. Okay, so it's a $100,000 mastermind. All the trainings are in there. So if you missed that day and you've already jumped in, we're going to gift it to you. And if you're sitting on the fence, that's going to be available for today. I got another one. In November, we're going to have a mastermind for our clients. I will gift you a seat. If you're already in MML, you know what I'm talking about. You're already coming, right? You're good to go. You're already coming. But for people who are not being trained by me in entrepreneurship, we're going to gift you a seat in that training. It's in November. It's either going to be in Florida or it's going to be in Puerto Rico, one of the two. And we have to figure that out because I didn't expect to move to Puerto Rico until 5 weeks ago. Okay, so we didn't know that before. So now that I'm moving to Puerto Rico, it's either going to be Puerto Rico or Florida, and the team has to use their leadership. And we have to figure it out, right? We have to figure out where are we going to do it, and we got to get a hotel, and we got to do all of that. Okay, and so I'm going to gift you this, a daily bonus, only available today. I'm going to throw Dan Fleischman's training in, which is my mastermind for 100M. Spent $100,000 for the exact same training you're going to get, right? Now, not doing leadership and having that training is a waste of time because you never executed at the level that you needed to. Now you'll be able to hear the advice and execute. The cool thing is you'll have that for the rest of your life. Go through leadership and then start studying it. Do you hear what I'm saying? Get through leadership before the November mastermind. Do you think you can monetize it? Yes, you'll crush it. The only reason why people are afraid is because they've either been let down in the past or they've let down themselves. And so leadership is that security blanket so that doesn't happen anymore. But our daily bonuses are going to go away today. Go to joinhclnow.com. I'm going to gift a homework coaching session to somebody who goes out and tells the rest of the people in the Facebook group, here's how I found the money. Got it? Awesome, you guys. I'm going to move to VIP. Peace out. We'll see you tomorrow morning with Dean Graziosi. And today I'm going to go live again with one of our friends that literally created passive income through Airbnb. You don't even have to own a house. So by the way, at 12 noon, we're going to go back live again. So look for emails coming out that tell you how to get access to that. Okay. And Dean Graziosi tomorrow, I'm going to interview him and ask him the questions that you want to know that you don't hear because he's always training